This is a Signature TV News Update. Good evening, thanks for joining us. I am Brenda Etta. In the headlines, demolition hits Abuja community as government clears illegal structures along popular Mpape roadside. After 2 years, Federal High Court gives a ruling against perpetrators of the Abuja nightclub raid. Dangote, only Nigerian on Bloomberg's billionaires lists. And now, the details. The Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, on Wednesday visited Mpape community, demolished illegal buildings and shops situated along the roadside. The demolitions, which took place on Wednesday, came barely 2 weeks after FCTA warned the occupants of the shops and buildings to remove their belongings. Speaking to journalist Ikaro Atta, the chairman FCT Ministerial Committee on City Sanitation, stated that the demolition was as a result of requests made by the landlords and tenants of Mpape community to the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Mohammed Bello, to come and clear the roadside and reclaim the road shoulders in the community. Kelechi Chikoma, a shop owner who was affected by the demolition, said they received notice of the demolition from the FCTA, but they did not clearly map out the area that would be affected, stressing that they did not know that the demolition would affect them.
The landlords and tenants came to FCTA, wrote to the minister, Malam Musa Bello, requesting him to come to Mpape and clear Mpape roadside. So what we are doing is in line with the request of Mpape landlords who wrote to the minister requesting that all the road shoulders be reclaimed so there can be ease of traffic movement, as well as some of the shanties, the one you saw by the roadside, also be removed. So it was the landlord who pleaded that the illegality be removed. But from our own end, the people did not know that we have a full detailed plan to come and clean up since the landlords have appealed to us. So they remain basking in the euphoria that nobody can enter Mpape to clear the illegality and the road.
It's like we wrote a letter to them for them to give us, for them to mark where they will demolish. Because of the truth, last 2 weeks they came, but they did not tell us that they will demolish the house. What they said is only the container and the illegal structure. That's what they said. But unfortunately, what we are seeing now of the truth, nobody is happy. But there's nothing you can do.
And a lot of people have done. Even I have somewhere around the road. I know that it's illegal place, but they sell it for us. And it's people here that they call themselves indigenous of Mpape. They sold it. I don't know where to start because by next month school will resume. And my market now, I don't know.
National Human Rights Commission, in partnership with civil society organization, have organized a press conference to intimate the public on the current achievements recorded in the Federal High Court, ruling against the perpetrators of April 2019 Abuja nightclub raid. Briefing newsmen on Wednesday at the National Human Rights Commission, the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Tony Ojukwu, said Vice President Yemi Osibanjo has tasked the Commission to investigate what happened during the raid with the view of bringing offenders to book. Signature TV correspondent Marvelous Oberman was at the press briefing and now reports.
Civil society organizations and top officials of the National Human Rights Commission gathered at the Commission's conference hall to intimate journalists on the recent ruling of the Federal High Court in favor of the 6 women who were harassed and abused during a raid by the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, police, and other law enforcement agencies in April 2019. Speaking to journalists, Kemi Okenyedo, a member of the governing body of the Commission, said the suit was filed with support from lawyers and civil society organizations. While recounting the story, Okenyedo said the ruling will serve as a deterrent to law enforcement agencies who abuse the fundamental human rights of Nigerians.
On the 26th of April 2019, a mob of over 100 male state actors invaded clubs, hotels, supermarkets, and other centers of business in Abuja to round up women under the guise of arresting sex workers. It was alleged that the invasion was commissioned by Hajia Sefia Umar, the Acting Secretary, Social Development Secretariat of the FCT. This judgment, like I said earlier, is significant as it asserts the human rights of every person against gender-based violence, especially by state actors.
Rekia Adejo, chairperson International Federation of Women Lawyers, said the association was instrumental to the success of the case.
FIDA Abuja was somehow indirectly involved because Bojurayo Ogunlanonkanga, whose name was mentioned as one of the team that argued the matter at the Federal High Court, is our public relations officer. So you can see that FIDA is deeply involved or was deeply involved in the matter. And we're glad and we want to state that this is victory for women. This is victory for all civil society organizations that stand for women and children.
Sergio Bobo, an official in the National Human Rights Commission, expressed satisfaction with the court ruling. He attributed systemic failure to the reason law enforcement agencies abuse rights of citizens while enforcing the law.
There's a problem with the police, with the FCD authority. So my hope and prayer is that this one will just be a one step to much more further action and engagement with these different arms of government.
Earlier, the Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, Anthony Ojukwu, who was represented by Harry Obe, said the commission stands against the Abuja nightclub raid. He said the commission constituted a committee to investigate the case.
The National Human Rights Commission was called upon to activate its mandate of promoting and protecting human rights in Nigeria, especially when the infamous raid on nightclub happened in Abuja. A group of civil society organizations visited the commission and requested the commission to wade into the gross human rights violation. The National Human Rights Commission was also requested by the Office of the Vice President to take up the responsibility of investigating what happened.
Dare Ario, in his closing remarks, thanked the commission and the team of lawyers for their relentless effort to see that justice prevailed in the case.
I want to specifically also thank Osiwa. Osiwa was and is very instrumental. Osiwa provided the hub and complete the hub for us to meet, including financial support, and all other organizations, including Amnesty International and others.
After 2 years of trial, Justice Evelyn Maha of the Federal High Court in August 5th gave her ruling that the 6 women that were fundamentally abused awarded $2 million to $4 million damages against the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, Inspector General of Police, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and Inspector Thomas Zemekwe. In Abuja, Marvelous Obomman.
The President's National Association of Resident Doctors, Okuwehai Sui Uyilawa, has slammed the federal government for not being able to come to an agreement with the striking resident doctors, even as they have shown a willingness to dialogue. This is coming as the federal government failed to show up at the planned meeting with the resident doctors at the Ministry of Health on Wednesday in Abuja. Signature TV correspondent Nasiru Usman was at the Ministry of Health and now reports.
The proposed meeting between the striking doctors and the federal government ended in futility as officials of the association waited in the conference hall, but no delegate from the government side to dialogue with the president of the association, Dr. Okwaiye Sui Uyilawa, who frowned at the behavior, called on government to keep to their promise. Dr. Uyilawa said the association's objective is for Nigerians to have access to good health care, but will not put their lives on the line.
4 months you didn't do anything. Then now we should give you 2 months back. When, because of the speaker's honor, we called off the strike, even when we were called names, that we took money from this one, that's why we called off the strike. We called off the strike because of the goodwill we had for Nigerians. Then you are telling us to wait again for verification for another 2 months. That means how much? That is 9 to 5 months. Then is that what we're coming here to do?
After a closed-door meeting with the striking doctors and the Minister of Health, represented by the Director of Health Services, Dr. Adebimpe Adebiyi, the National Association of Resident Doctors Secretary, Dr. Jerry Isogun, said the government is not taking any step to address the issues of striking doctors and seems not to care about the health of Nigerians.
This meeting is supposed to be a follow-up to the meeting of yesterday. We are asked to come so that we can know what they have done. Like I told you before we went in for the meeting, we are here for actions. We need our members to be paid their salaries. We need the arrears of 2015, 2016 to be paid to our members. We need the circular that remove the house officers from the scheme of security. We need our members to be migrated from the gifting platform, the platform that is causing this problem, causing the non-payment of salary, to be regularized. And if they do that, then we can talk to our members. And like I told you earlier, we are not happy that this is happening, and government is taking, the whole day as if there's no crisis. There's crisis. Nigerians are suffering. We need them to do this thing quickly. Like you confirmed, we were here before time. We have been here, and now we have just been discharged in less than 10 minutes.
This issue has been duly communicated long before now, and a lot of engagement had happened. But just because of insincerity and lack of commitment and will to implement those commitments from the side of the government, that is what has led to this current impasse we are having currently. And as you are all aware, yesterday during the discussion, if you had followed up, you will realize that there's still not, the government is still not willing to resolve this issue.
With the failure of today's meeting, it looks like there is no end in sight for the ongoing strike. In Abuja, Nasir Usman for Signature TV.
In business, Aliko Dangote was listed as the only Nigerian in Bloomberg Billionaires Index on Tuesday with a net worth of $17.8 billion. The chairman of the Dangote Group was ranked 118 among 500 billionaires listed by Bloomberg. Tesla's chief executive officer, Elon Musk, topped the Billionaires Index with a net worth value at $193 billion. He is followed by Amazon's Jeff Bezos at number 2 and also valued at $193 billion. The Billionaires chart is a daily ranking of the richest people on earth and measures personal wealth solely on fluctuations in markets, the economy, and Bloomberg's reportage. On the foreign scene, the U.S. Senate on Wednesday approved $3.5 trillion budgets that would greatly expand social spending with major investments in health, education, and tackling climate change. The measure passed 50-49 along party lines after a marathon vote at Ramal's session of amendment votes. This was made known in a tweet by U.S. Senate's Majority Leader Chuck Schumer after the vote. He further said the move puts them on track to bring a generational transformation to how the economy works for average Americans. And in sports, former Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain midfielder Ronaldinho wished Lionel Messi many moments of joy on Tuesday after the Argentina attacker joined the French club from the La Liga giants. Earlier, PSG announced 34-year-old Messi had signed a 2-year deal with the club, making the opposite move to the one the former Brazil player Ronaldinho made in 2003. Ronaldinho, who won his only Ballon d'Or at the Camp Nou in 2005, predicted a first Champions League success for the Qatari-owned Parisians, with former Real Madrid and Spain captain Sergio Ramos also heading to the French capital. Messi and Ronaldinho played together at Barca between 2004 and 2008. Before we end the news, a recap of our major stories. Demolition hits Pape and Abuja community as government on Wednesday cleared illegal structures along the roadside. After 2 years, Federal High Court has given a ruling against those responsible for the Abuja nightclub raid. Nigerian businessman Dangote is the only Nigerian on Bloomberg's billionaires list, which was released earlier today. Safety and security begin with you. Be patriotic. Report any suspicious activity to law enforcement agencies. Please stay safe. That's the Signature TV News updates on behalf of my producer Anita Eze. Thanks for watching. I am Brenda Etta.